So for Facebook, I definitely think everybody's moving on to Facebook. I mean, it seems like all these advertising channels is getting more and more crowded. So of course, it depends on your niche and your own margins. But you also have to, of course, pay for the Amazon cost if you're also sending that traffic to Amazon. But I would try to have a healthy profit margin before I even looked at Facebook ads. With today's more expensive costs, I would try to at least have a higher value product with at least $5 to $10 of advertising budget for my margin.
Facebook ads, how it's evolved, or even Google ads back in the day, back in the 90s. It was relatively simple, but it got more and more complex. It got more and more difficult to make money unless you knew what you were doing, how to properly dial in target audiences and ad copy. There's so many aspects to it. So I'd say Twitter is my big failure that I can think of. I've had Facebook campaigns do very poorly, and I've had Facebook campaigns do very well. And it's always a learning experience. But the thing with Facebook is that their darn algorithm changes every 6 months. So just when you think you've got it figured out, it's very, very difficult to scale. So let's say I've got it figured out, and I spent $100 on a campaign. So logically, I think, well, hang on, if I just 10x that and I spend $1,000, I'll 10x the results. Never seems to work that way. Certainly not for me. I have spoken with some of my friends who own some big Facebook ad agencies, and they're saying the same thing. They find that scaling Facebook ads is not like scaling other things. There's other factors to consider. Not that they can't be scaled, not by any means. You just can't just double down your money and expect to double your results in the same way.
Facebook. Usually I do most of my launches like when the product's fairly new. After the product gets like 100 reviews, the ranks kind of go up on their own because the product's well optimized. I have Amazon ads running simultaneously that's boosting those rankings. But usually the Facebook ads are just like sub 100 reviews. Like if I'm trying to like really boost it up to page 1 for some keyword so I can get a hard rank, because a lot of people are like over dependent on Amazon ads. They'll try to get all of their ranks and results just from running Amazon ads, and then they spin their wheels for months and months. They keep increasing their budget, nothing happens. So sometimes you have to like add an external variable in to like boost it up.
We had a client at the old agency I was working at, online marketing agency, and he decided he wanted to run ads, but he wanted to choose the pictures that were used in the ads himself. So he chose the ones that he liked most and didn't really think about what works best for conversion, like on which ads will the customers click. So he was just so stubborn and used his own pictures that he spent thousands of euros on ads that didn't convert at all. So basically the campaigns were that. So always try to think as your customer. If I scroll through Facebook or if I go on Google, on which ad would I click? I mean, it's hard if you have like the focus because you're the founder, CEO, marketing manager, whatever, and you work with the company every day, and you know all the benefits already. But really try to keep it simple and just answer the questions that your customers want to ask.
I would go and download reports of Amazon sellers, or Amazon customers, and they have a report called Amazon Fulfilled Shipments. And this report includes all your buyers' history. And you can get their names, their address, the zip code, and everything. Once you have this data, all the names and zip code and address, you can take the data from your Amazon buyers and then upload it to Facebook using custom audience creation. So you create a custom audience with the data you took from Amazon. And Amazon today they give you the option to download a monthly report. So you can do it just once a month and then build up your audience on Facebook. And then you can either retarget your customers or create a lookalike audience that have the same interests and then retarget those customers.
Facebook Leads is actually a pretty powerful tool. So Facebook has a campaign that's been out for a little while now that allows you to literally capture the individual's name and email address directly from Facebook. So, the ad pops up and your ad is like, come buy my yogurt. And they click on the ad and it pops up with a form where it's actually pre-filled their name and their email address. You can hit submit and it goes right into your CRM. You can automate that process. You can automate following up with them, about what is. You can actually automate, sending them a calendar invite if you wanted to. So, that whole process of your engagement, those initial steps don't have to be manual.
Facebook AdSense.
So I tend to, first and foremost, go to paid advertising. And if you sell physical products online, which is the typical e-commerce exercise, Facebook ads are quite good for this sort of thing, especially if you have something that appeals to a certain psychographic that can then correspond to a set of Facebook targets. Obviously, that's a good one.
Facebook has an extremely large number of users that are just browsing in their day-to-day life on the phone, on their computer. They're going to see these things in their newsfeed pop up, which are sponsored posts or ads. This is how Facebook makes their money. The advertisers are putting some offer in front of people, and Facebook has to try to find the right people to put in front of. So what you have to get good at for Facebook ads is how to position the offer, how to get it in front of the right people, and then how to get them to take action by strategically following up with them. So that's kind of like this way to simplify it, but it's actually, there's a lot that goes into it. I mean, there's people, their full-time job is just running Facebook ads for people, and they're still learning every day. The platform's always changing, so it's really good to like stay dialed in with people that know what they're doing. They have their hands in the accounts every day, which is I also learn from people, but I'm also in the field doing it. So that's why I focus on teaching people like Facebook ads, because that's where I spend most of my time.
Facebook ads?
So it's usually just in video content on Facebook where you can add keyword tags. Those are searchable for users in the Facebook search bar. You can search for hair tutorials with a 1-inch curling iron in your Facebook, just like you would on YouTube. And those videos that have those tags that are tagged with hair tutorial or tagged with 1-inch barrel curling iron, those will show up. It's not as common on Facebook, but they're trying to get into that similar searchability that YouTube already has.
Doing paid advertising and integrating Google ads, which obviously Google and Amazon work very well together, and Facebook ads. And Facebook ads did really, really well, and we started using chatbots as well to take customers from Facebook through a chat onto Amazon. So they would be very primed to get reviews. Again, I don't know how much detail you want this, but we have like the chat laid out with how to get the review from the chat and from the ad and everything. But that's sort of some directions which we went in since we started.
Facebook ads.
It looks sexy. I'm going to drive a lot of Facebook ads and all that stuff to my business. But like before you do that, make sure that you actually have optimized like your advertising on Amazon. Like if your advertising on Amazon is not doing well, like stop trying to do ads on Facebook. Like make sure that this part is doing well, and then I think this is probably something I think a lot of people are doing. For some reason they want to send traffic from Facebook so bad that they don't optimize the traffic or their pay-per-click before.
Finding people who you should target, because it depends on the business. Sometimes it's very easy, but other times you don't know who your target audience is, like, or where to find it. For instance, like with my business, like I do listing translation, there's no way how I know how to target people on Facebook. Or it takes a lot of time to see who your target group is. It depends on how long you have the market. But sometimes it's really hard to find the best ways how to target your market, your audience. And it takes a lot of time to figure that out.
Facebook ads, for sure, had a lot of failures with that. And like I said, the reasons were because it was a very competitive landscape. It's just a lot of copy and pasting, people kind of just picking up other people's ads and not really tweaking it, and kind of just reusing the same ads. Having to learn how to do it and how to do it effectively at the same time is an art form. So you know, if you're not willing to kind of put in the time, or if you don't have the right resources or the right kind of guidance, you can lose a lot of money very quickly.
When you're doing Facebook ads, after these 4 days pass, you will look at your statistics and then you will try to optimize. That's what I said by buying the data. And then from that data, you will know which part works, and that's what you will single out on. You know, just exactly, for example, you will have 100 views and there will be a certain number of clicks on that variation. And another one will also have 100 views, but a different number of clicks, right? So you will just check which one is the better performing one in terms of conversions in the end. Don't just look which one has a higher click-through rate. Wait for those conversions to come in. Because sometimes people click a lot on things like, you know, nice puppy, nice doggy, or whatever they click on, you know. If it's a very amazing picture, people will click a lot, but that doesn't mean they will convert in the end. So don't start, you know, pausing all the little click-through rate ads before you even get conversions. Wait for those conversions to come in. And one conversion is not enough to judge that it's converting. You should wait, I don't know, 4 of them, maybe. Okay, if you're really, really saving money, 3 conversions. But that's only then decide if that's working or not working, you know. And set a certain limit that you can maximize the budget. Without the sales, you would pause it. So I would do, it depends on your product. So let's say if your product is $30, so don't spend more than $300, you know, testing something. So don't overspend on something that completely is not working. Once you have your conversions and you know your winners, your goal will be to keep duplicating the winners with similar audiences, right? So there are methods that people like Sam Ovens are talking about. So look him up and look up his strategies. And they have very nice, special way how you work with Facebook by duplicating your existing campaigns. The problem with Facebook is that people say, oh, it's working, and then it dies down 2 months later. Why it dies down? Because the audience kind of runs out, right? Facebook optimizes from the big audience like a little square of that audience, which converts the best, and the rest they ignore. So to restart that, to reset it again, you have to restart, make a duplicate, change something a little bit to tweak that algorithm reset. And then so you will basically keep duplicating, and even having the same video and the same text, you can still duplicate the campaigns, just changing a little bit. So, and you will continue doing that. So you have to work on it every day, basically. Keep duplicating, keep working, eliminate the non-performers, and like that, you're gonna have success.
A lot of people do fail with Facebook ads. As far as promoting a product on Amazon, it's the most effective way, you know, period, to rank a product on Amazon. So you don't make money initially, but with that rank, you make money over the long term. And some people aren't willing to wait for the long term. And that's one reason people like promoting Amazon products would say, you know, Facebook ads didn't work for me, because maybe they didn't have the right strategy, they didn't have the right template, the right messaging, they didn't know how to get it in front of the right people. They try once or twice, they lose $100 and they give up. But you just have to kind of, I guess the best way to do advertising when you're first starting out is copy something that's already working and make it your own. So like find a competitor that's in a similar space to you, that's, you know, if they're trying to get sales on their website, copy what they're doing and then just make it your own. If they're ranking products on Amazon, there's, you know, plenty of people that teach how to do that. I'm one of them. I have templates, I have strategies, I have Facebook ads that you can pretty much just plug your products into and rank. So it's very formulaic if you know where to look.
We've tried to advertise on Facebook, but the dollar value for this, I'm thinking about the one brand, is too low. Anything under a $30 item, it doesn't make sense to go on to Facebook. I'm not able to convert and make profit under $30. So if it was a $40 or $50 item, great. If it's a package bundle, that's a different story. But my product for that site is under $30, so it's just not a good fit for Facebook.
Say that in order to get any sort of advertising to work, I think your average order size will have to be over, $40 or $50 in order to make advertising make sense. Our average order size is around $60. And so I would say actually for Google ads, the average order value can be less than that. But for Facebook ads, I would definitely say in the $40 to $50 average order value range for sure.
Facebook ads?
I have done Facebook ads in the past, but it has not worked for me very well personally. Like, I'm not saying Facebook ads are bad, but now I'm good in Google ads.
If you're not willing to put the time and the effort into promotion, then the promotion's not going to work for you. So you can't build a Facebook page for your product or for your brand and tell all your friends to like it and tell all your family members to like it, and then expect, without spending any money with Facebook ads, to get a whole bunch of people directed from Facebook over to Amazon or over to Shopify or wherever to buy your products. So unfortunately, social media has become a pay-to-play sort of situation. So to really kind of get a great audience on social media, you do have to pay for it. So I've seen a lot of people that have just thought, okay, well, great. Like I've got this huge reach. I've got 1,000 friends, 2,000 friends, or I've got the maximum 5,000 friends on Facebook. So I can create a business page for myself and I can just get everybody to like it. And my item's going to sell like hotcakes because of that. You really have to be more strategic than that. And you really have to have a better plan than just fly by the seat of your pants and just expect everything to work out.
Making sure the ads are the most up to date. There's no ad fatigue, and definitely kind of just the marketing aspect of the ads. That's what I've heard.
There was a lot of these aha moments. Oh, I have this idea. This is gonna work. I'm gonna go from 10 sales a day to 100 sales a day, and then I do it, and it just doesn't work. I either spend a lot of money on it or a lot of effort on it, and there are so many methods that you can try and they may not end up working for you. And even if someone else is successful at it, it doesn't mean that you will be successful at it. So as an example, I could tell you that I tried Facebook ads. And I'm still running Facebook ads until today, but Facebook ads they're a problem for those Amazon products that are low margin. So if you have very little space for your ad spend, in the margin, then some products are not even eligible for Facebook ads. I wouldn't even put them up. So I would say if your product is less than $30, and I'm assuming 40% margin or so, you don't have enough space for anything because you'll be paying a little bit of storage fees, a little bit of refunds rate gonna come in. You will just a little bit of everything gonna come up, and then there's not enough wiggle space to optimize the ads. When you're doing Facebook ads, you first have to buy the data and be brave enough to do it. And that's when most people, back out from it. When you are buying Facebook ads, you have to dedicate a certain amount of budget. Let's say $2,000 I'm going to spend. And then close your eyes for 4 days and not even look at it and force yourself to do it. You limit your budget to like $125 a day and just force yourself not to change anything. And many beginners, when they start doing it, while the Facebook even has a chance to optimize your ads for the best part of that audience that you're targeting, and they don't even have enough data to see what converts and which ones to optimize for, and you are already killing it because you're scared. The spend is so high and conversions are so expensive. Actually, so you have to give those 4 days, and the 4 days I didn't think of. It's something that is being repeated over and over by different specialists of Facebook ads. They keep saying 4 days. So there's a feeling that they all have. There's no real information about this. So you should keep it for that much at least. And doing Facebook ads requires a lot of patience in testing different variations and different audiences, and there are so many different variables that you can quickly spend all your budget and overspend and just so that's why when I tried it, I totally failed at it, and I tried many times, and many times I failed. I kept coming back to it, but the only time it worked is when I had a product that is more expensive than $40. So where I have enough space, I had about $15 of profit margin that I could work with, and ended up being like $11, one sale acquisition. So that's the only one I made it work. But even then, I would say $15 is probably the minimum cost for one conversion, especially if you're sending to your Shopify site or like a landing page in between and things like that. It's tough, but it's possible.
Favorite platform right now for testing simple video ads is Facebook. That's where we see most of the traction. That's where we get most of our viral activity is Facebook. And we don't worry a whole lot about targeting our audience up front either. We target very wide audiences. If you're to go buy a course right now on Facebook video advertising or Facebook marketing in general, they're going to talk to you a lot about how to select the proper subcategories, single females in their 30s, no children, professional, college educated. Like, that's my target. We don't spend a whole lot of time wasting our time trying to figure out who our target audience is. We just create videos. Facebook tells us who it resonates with based on the data a few days later, and we may end up targeting a little more intentionally at that audience later. But the thing you have to keep in mind with Facebook, and the reason I love it, is everybody knows someone who that video might appeal to. So maybe you've got a grandma watching a dad play with a toy with his daughter, for example. Well, we wouldn't have thought to target the grandma because this is a toy that typically moms buy for their kids. But we target a wide audience. Grandmas tag the moms and the dads that they think should have this toy because it's cute, or they tag their fellow friends who are also grandmas who have grandkids. We're not that, we don't drill down that deep. We let Facebook do that for us and tell us who's watching and who's interested. And we're very interested in getting tags. We love to see people tagging each other on our ads. That's how you know you've got a winner. It's not a metric that Facebook tells you. But if you see people tagging other people in your video ad saying, oh, you've got to see this, that is a gold mine because you don't have to pay for that additional exposure. So your goal is to get tags and shares.
You have a video ad on Facebook, change where the video starts, because then it's not getting old for people to see the same thing when they scroll. I think it's a different thing, so it's like increases conversions quite a bit. First, you always change the thumbnails, but it's actually the video. Sometimes the video just starts for people when they have good internet connection. They don't even see the thumbnail, so it's already a little bit in. So if that change where it starts, it's kind of interesting.
Facebook ads. We've tried Facebook ads, and this is just not what we're best at. We've hired some people, didn't get the results we wanted. So
the other thing, not watching it very closely, not cutting out audience targeting or ads that are failing. So you have to stay kind of vigilant. One thing that's really helped with that is using Facebook's rules. They have automated rules in their platform built in. So you can set a rule in there that says, if your cost per result is above a certain number, turn off this ad. So just setting up these parameters to enable you to sleep at night without having to wake up at 3 a.m. and be like, oh, is my ad performing well? That's been helpful as well, if that makes sense.
I know that there's certainly not every single product is going to qualify to be shown. Amazon or Facebook, just like Amazon, I guess. But Facebook is going to say, no, you can't advertise that kind of product on our platform. For whatever terms of service they have. Some products are loss leaders. In other words, they are priced dirt cheap or even below. They've got a small price point just to get people engaged, just to get them to bite, to get them into your messenger bot, to get them to, as a first customer. Usually what we find on that is whatever attracted them to, if it was a price, point that attracted them to the product, it's probably that kind of classifies as far as what kind of shopper they are. If you're offering a free item, you're going to get a bunch of freebie seekers. If you're offering something that is really high quality and a higher price point, your engagement goes way down. Your cost to get that sale goes up. And ultimately, as long as you've got enough money to fund the budget and the advertising, and you can make up the money somehow later on, maybe with an upsell or additional product or some kind of a longer lifetime value, then it makes sense to be able to sell a higher price point. Back when I was selling on eBay, I sold products that were like banking equipment, like coin sorters and money counters and that kind of stuff. And those would range anywhere from $200 up to $2,000, and some of those just don't sell, like the $2,000 items. You get above about $700 or $800 on Amazon or eBay or these kind of e-commerce platforms, and the sales diminish considerably, even though the product might be in demand. So it kind of depends. I would say try to focus on the margins and just pay attention to what your cost of acquiring that customer is, and whether or not, if it has a high cost of acquiring that customer, how are you going to make that money back long term? Do you have other things that are going to provide, that are going to be valuable to that shopper, or do you just have one thing and maybe you need to look at a different way of advertising it?
So it can make sense, but I'm not a huge fan of running off-site PPC ads to Amazon because, like you mentioned, there's this kind of jump that needs to happen potentially twice, which isn't always ideal. So maybe you instead run Facebook ads to that landing page, and there still has to be an incentive there. You get their email address, and then you can use email marketing to increase sales on the back end for your actual products. That's also a strategy. So something I like to say all the time is like play chess, not checkers. So don't just think of the upfront transaction. Think over the long term as well.
But outside traffic, isn't that, how I would always worry that if I'm not sending to the landing page in between, that Amazon will see a lot of traffic and like very little conversions, and they will assume that my listing is not such a good converter anymore. Would that have an effect?
So I think that's kind of a myth and not necessarily the case. You can look at products that go viral with viral videos, and they probably get a ton of traffic and maybe only a small percentage of people buying. And I don't think you see losing rank on that. I think there's probably a difference when there's a search done within Amazon and a lot of people clicking and not buying versus like sending outside traffic. So I wouldn't be overly concerned, right? Because if you can have Kylie Jenner post your product, would you do it, or would you be concerned that you're not going to get conversions on her 140 million followers? You would do it, right? Because you want that outside traffic, even if you're only going to convert a very, very, very small percentage of the people that come over. So that exposure and outside traffic is a good thing. So I honestly wouldn't be overly concerned about sending outside traffic and not converting.
Facebook ads.
We obviously do social media, and the way we do social media is rather than just building and just throwing ads out there, we obviously have the whole sales funnel where we create sales and offers and try to drive traffic from say Facebook ads, Instagram ads, and Google ads onto our landing page, which will give them all the information that they know and they want about the product, and then either drive traffic through to our website or to the Amazon listing, whichever one converts better.
Ranking, the main purpose people run Facebook ads for Amazon is to rank or to get reviews. If you need to rank a product, you generally have to run the ad for up to 10 days at most. So for like a medium competition product, I tell people max budget like $50 a day. It's probably going to spend between like $25 and $50 when you turn it on. So you run that for 10 days, your total spend is going to be like 200 something, right? Maybe 300. That's for most people that I work with. If you're going after more competitive stuff, like some of the things I'm going after, I'll spend like $1,000 just on the launch, just like pushing it really hard because I have to sell like a couple hundred units, for example. So new accounts, they don't know anything about who you're targeting and who's performing well when because you haven't run any ads historically. The more you run, the more data Facebook has on like who your audience is, who's converting, who's clicking send message, who's going to your chatbot and interacting. So the more you spend, the better the results get generally, as long as you're feeding it good data.
I think Facebook ads is the hardest, but it is also very rewarding if you do it right. But using Facebook ads is like, you have to be like very good in A/B testing, and it's at the beginning you always lose, and it's really, really hard to make people click on your ads. So I think I tried it too several times. Never had a huge success. I did hear about people who actually made it to work, like generating sales using Facebook ads. But to me, it is, I think, the hardest part, like to succeed in using Facebook ads in in generating sales? Well, I think the most difficult thing here is to make people click on your ad. So maybe it's the graphic, maybe it's the message you are trying to deliver using the ad, which I probably didn't do well. I don't know, but this is what the customer sees is the graphics and the message, right? So it's either the message or the graphics.
We created 10 videos, very good videos. We structured, we built up a list of avatars. So we identified, looking at our Amazon data, that we had 10 different avatars. Young wife with husband, husband with older wife, those kind of things. And we gave names to them and we identified where we hang around, whereas some are sportive, some are not sportive, that kind of thing. So we really build very good and strong avatars. We wrote one script for a brand video, which was showcasing what our brand does, our mission, what our main products are, and what people are telling. And for each of us, the script was the same, but the spokesperson was different. Each spokesperson was one avatar. Okay, and this was, oh, this is a great idea. Wow, I'm gonna make a lot of money. So we did this, and those videos were not cheap. And then, we went on Facebook and we tried to identify those specific avatar for audiences, and we started targeting those audiences with these videos, which it worked. We did get traffic to Shopify. They did build upsell and cross-sell funnels for me. But overall, the cost of acquisition, the cost for us to acquire a customer, was greater or equal to the cart value. We were never able to bring the cart value up enough to make this worth it. And again, free services over 1.5 years.
Pixeled audience on Facebook is the fact that you can send them wherever you want to send them later. The initial goal is just to get a large audience of people who have interacted in some fashion with one of your ads and shown an interest. After that, you can test out. Sometimes it's better to send them to Amazon for us. Other times it's better to send them to maybe a free plus shipping opt-in offer on our Shopify site, depending on the product. But the nice thing about the position we're in now is we have hundreds of thousands, actually, depending on which pixel you're talking about, a few million people pixeled, meaning we can easily reach out to them again later at any point we'd like and expose them to whatever offer we want. So it's a matter of testing. I wouldn't say there's one best place to send people, although I can tell you this, you don't want to try to make the sale in your ad. That's a big mistake I see a lot of people make. So when you're shooting that cell phone video of your product and showing that cute kid or that kind, sweet grandma figure or whatever you're using as your subject, don't go straight for the sale. Just show them interacting with it. You want people saying, hey, where'd you find that? That's a cool product. I'd like to know more about that. You reply in the comments. You're getting people pixeled. You'll figure out later what the best way to close the sale is. For now, it's all about getting attention and eyeballs. And again, like I said, tags and shares are gold.
I can run external traffic from Facebook.
I think really the best way to think about it is focus in on one or two ways that you're really good at and keep focusing on that until you figure it out. So like for me and what I teach to my students, I also am a coach and a mentor to like 650 students or so. I teach them primarily how to use Facebook ads and ManyChat, which is like a Facebook Messenger bot to get people to buy on Amazon and leave reviews with, using methods that are compliant with the terms and not cheating in any way. So I would say focus on figuring out how to drive traffic in one way and then how to contact the customers in one way. Get really good at that.
So sometimes I get my VA to go to Google Maps and Google addresses of our customers from either Shopify or Amazon. And this is kind of weird, right? Like, why would you look where people live? But you get information, right? And what I love about Shopkeeper is that you have this gender option, right? So I use some different weird PHP software to determine that before, but now when I use Shopkeeper, I look, okay, women buy more of my product. And again, you should use that in your listing. But that's gender, right? But what about status, right? You can come up with, again, I'm not judging people, but by their houses and where they live, but you could get some ideas, right? Okay, people from richer areas buy my product. People who have 250 square meter houses buy my product. Okay, so again, you're building that avatar, right, that then you can use on your Facebook ads as well for targeting. And I'll give you, again, this maybe sounds useless or weird, but I'll give you a case where exactly in my product, in my previous brand, it was super surprising. So we Googled some addresses, and we've seen, again, it was a small percentage, but it was big enough that small boutique hotels were buying our product. Okay, so it was a product for your home, a utility kind of a little product, and I would assume that you just buy it for your house. But then we saw good few of those small hotels buying it, whatever. So okay. Yeah, of course, it can be used in hotels, and it'll be very useful for your guests and all that stuff. So yeah, again, did that. Revisited our copy on our listing, and we said, okay, if you can use it in your home, and if you have a hotel, it definitely will help your guests as well, and blah blah. So again, being weird by stalking your customers on Google Maps can be helpful.
If you don't have organic social. If you don't have organic social presence, it's going to be very difficult to do any kind of paid social, because you have to know who your audience is. If you're going to promote to your audience, if you're going to do a lookalike audience, it means you have to have a root audience, a core audience that already sort of fits your potential buyer or ideal candidate. So having organic social media is incredibly powerful. And we've seen people use their organic social media just to promote a new product. Hey, we're launching this product on Amazon. We're launching this product on our Shopify site. And they do that through social. And that can drive a ton of traffic to those listings just to help them get launched. Once you have organic social, then paid becomes a natural addition to that you can enhance or increase the amount of exposure you get with organic. But it's like a car. If you have a car that's not running, giving it more gas doesn't do anything. You have to be moving, and then giving it more gas makes it go faster. So you think of that in terms of getting the car running is like having organic social, and then stepping on the gas is doing paid.
We're very fortunate to live in a time where if you've got a smartphone and access to the internet, you can become an overnight sensation in marketing. You don't need to pick up any books or take any expensive courses or study any gurus. Just pick up your smartphone and film a child using your item or whatever, depending on the item. If it's an adult, it doesn't have to be a model. It doesn't have to be a trained professional. Just film someone using your item properly or improperly. Start a discussion. Post that simple video on Facebook. Audio quality doesn't really matter. Video quality doesn't matter. We have some videos that were filmed by my partner that ended up being viewed tens of millions of times. It's just he and his daughter playing with one of our laser tag toys right before dinner, and it's about a 30-second video, and it's cute because there's kids. Kids are cute. Small animals are cute. People in their older years interacting with a product that they don't necessarily understand, that's endearing. People enjoy those moments so they feel like they can connect at a human level. And the quality of the audio and video doesn't matter at that point. Throw a few dollars at a video ad on Facebook, you could ignite a new trend. That's happened for us. And it's not rocket science. Use common sense and just film and throw it up, test, throw a few dollars at it. If it doesn't work, move on, try something else. That's the age we live in, though. Testing is so easy. And I would say the best place to start, simple video ads on Facebook.
I believe all reputable email service providers do it. I use ActiveCampaign, and it's called scoring. ManyChat. I'm doing, obviously everybody's doing a lot of messenger bots now, but with ManyChat, it's called scoring as well. And it's pretty much boils down to, if I send an email to 1,000 people and 300 open it, the 300 that opened, I want an automation to score them and give them +1. Everyone that didn't, I want a -1. So when somebody hits about -25, they'll automatically be removed from my list, just because you're paying for the amount of people you have on your list. Now, once someone has reached +30, they've opened up so many different things. They're so hyper engaged that I want to trigger a separate automation, which is going to put them on a selling series to sell the product, because they've shown that they're really into what I have going on. So it's a way to automate it and get a high conversion. And in that sense, I find Facebook ads very profitable. But if you run an ad and you're sticking your product on your Shopify site or your Amazon site and you just click on it and they go there, I've never succeeded in that.
Keep in mind that Instagram advertising is managed through Facebook advertising. So the Facebook advertising platform, you can set up ads for Instagram or Facebook or both at the same time. So I'd always manage it through there. It's ads.facebook.com in your ads manager. And retargeting is key. Yes. I think one of the most beneficial things, especially for e-commerce, is retargeting visitors to your website. And you can choose to do that within the past 3 days up to 180 days. And you can retarget a specific page, a specific product landing page, or just your website as a whole. You can retarget it. You can get really nitty gritty with it. You have to have a Facebook pixel installed on your website, which is basically like Facebook advertising 101, Facebook Instagram advertising 101, is to have a Facebook pixel on your website so that you can retarget, so that you're constantly tracking an individual who came to your site. It's kind of the notorious of social media that, oh, I looked at that pair of shoes one time and now I keep seeing them in my Instagram feed. That's because of retargeting. And eventually, 80% of the time it is beneficial, because the more you're hit with that same pair of shoes that you were eyeing on the website, you're probably going to purchase them if they keep bugging you enough.
If your question is what price point item works best when marketing, say on Facebook using creative video ads, I would say that the price isn't really a big factor. For us, for example, we like to start people out with a lower priced offer as almost a loss leader. Let's get people in the funnel. Let's when they're exposed to our price, we want them to say, wow, that's a lot of product for the price. That's interesting. So now we've got them opted into our funnel. We look at every customer as not a transaction, but a potential lifelong customer. So now we've got them into, to use a popular phrase, funnel. The word funnel's been around since the 60s, but it's actually got a lot of popularity recently. Russell Brunson's products have popularized, the whole click funnel and all that. Funnels have been around forever, but the concept is you get people into your funnel at that highest level, maybe with a low-priced product offer, interested in your content somehow. You can sell them higher-priced products later. Now, you'll need to have those higher-priced, higher-margin products to sell them at some point, but you certainly don't have to start out there. The true asset is the audience that's paying attention. That's the asset. The products, the offers, the price points, that all can come later.
What is the psychology of the buyer who's searching on Amazon versus Facebook? Well, Facebook people aren't there to be interrupted explicitly. They're there to see interesting updates from their friends and family, to see viral videos, to read news items. So less in the sort of mental neighborhood of products and purchasing. That said, it could still be really good for awareness, and you can still certainly drive return, just financial return, in that same week, that same month with Facebook. It's just a different psychological context. At Facebook, I would place at the very top of the funnel in terms of it's very awareness heavy and good for that, and good for lead generation, good for audience building, and sort of thing.
So we've done it all, and I can just I challenge people to try to build non-paid traffic strategies before they just start dumping money. I mean, so many new people come into the space, and when you ask them about their traffic strategy, they'll just default to say, I'm going to advertise on Facebook. And I got to tell you, it's just not the best way to get traffic.
With Facebook ads.